Gentlemen, excellent to be back with you on MGTOW Money. Today's topic, 4 truths married men won't tell you. Before we get to that, thanks to the ongoing support from the Patreon investors in this channel. Thank you to the MGTOW Money army that is showing the respect for this channel, as well as I want to thank those guys that bought me a cup of coffee via PayPal, as well as a few bits of Bitcoin. See the video description of today's video. Become a supporter of this channel. Let's get on to it. 4 truths married men won't tell you. Men, I don't know about you, but I suspect that 80% of you, as I've mentioned before, are going to get married despite hours and hours of MGTOW videos. However, I'm going to reveal to you 4 things that your married friends, that your father, that your brothers, etc. are not going to tell you about getting married. And this is especially important for young men. So listen up clearly. 1, regular sex, forget it. Most men who are married after the first 6-12 months, guess what? They're getting down to the average of, at best, twice a week. And that's at best. I can speak from men that I've spoken to as well as things that I've heard. Some men, it's literally down to once every 6 months, once a year. I don't know about you. I wouldn't necessarily be getting into a relationship to do that. Furthermore, it will get boring. I guarantee you that. I don't know about you. I don't eat the same food every single day. You ever wonder why men that are married who are extremely successful and have extremely hot wives, if you will, and girlfriends, etc., and actresses around them, etc., are consistently cheating on them? You know why? Because they're bored, frankly. Because they want something new, they want something fresh, etc. I know it's a cliche, but it is true. Men and women are different, in particular when it comes to this. So, are you ready to basically take a vow of celibacy, and by the way, when I say celibacy, I'm including all your adult materials, because you will be as a married man. Next, a lot of times, and including unfortunately in my own past, the reason many men get married is simply because they want to escape their family. They want to escape their unhappy living situation with their mother or with their mother-father, whatever. They're in some sort of dysfunctional environment and they feel like this is an easy way to springboard from that dysfunctional environment. They can live on their own. They can have a roommate, if you will, a friend with benefits who can pay half the rent, etc. Once again, this is a terrible reason to do so, and I can't emphasize that enough. Young men, listen up. Don't just seek out getting married just because, or even living with a woman just because you feel like you want to escape from a terrible living situation. You want to move out on your own? The best way to do so is move into a reasonably economically prosperous area in your particular country and get a good job that pays an above average income. You can do this, and you don't need a woman around you to help you. Next, so many men simply want to be accepted. I think this is a primary driver, is that from a societal standpoint, we want to see couples and family acceptance is so incredibly important for so many men, and being seen as quote unquote normal, that you have a stamp of approval from a quote unquote woman that she has chosen to be with you. And I further understand this is especially impactful in traditional cultures, whether it be Latin American, Indian cultures, where it's almost expected, where you almost have to, or at least you're significantly influenced to do so. I don't have an easy answer on this one. All I can say is stand up, say no, stay strong. Speaking from my own experience, one of the best things that can happen to you, the more relative wealth and success that you get in your life, the better you will feel about yourself and the less you will care. You will feel like you're walking as a giant among pygmies once you get up to a certain level. Again, of course, we're talking about just relative wealth. Furthermore, as you get older, you will feel much less concerned about what anyone says about you. So between money, between success and age, I virtually promise you, you will feel more distance from those around you, and frankly, you just won't care. Lastly, most importantly, so many men are driven to get married because they don't want to be quote unquote lonely. They have this delusion, and I emphasize that, a delusion that, hey, if I get married, I'll never be lonely. That is so far from the truth. And again, this is one of those things that all those married guys around you encountered are highly unlikely to ever tell you, is that some of their loneliest moments, certainly from my own experience, and I suspect from theirs as well, have been when they've been married. It's actually far more difficult and far more heart-wrenching when you're married and or just living with a woman and feeling lonely than to be physically alone. When you're physically alone, it's much easier to deal with. I can promise you, Western society, especially over the past 40 years or so, you can go back and see the classic book Bowling Alone from the early 90s, where they were talking about how loneliness is becoming far more widespread, again, especially within Western society. The cure for you, young man, is not to get married. That will actually make the problem worse. I am warning you. Again, I only have two ideas on that. One, you're just going to have to get out more, or two, you're just going to have to start accepting yourself more so. There's no quick and easy fix to this, but I can promise you getting married is not going to fix anything, and it's going to make your problem worse. Let me finish by saying, I'm going to give you a secret that most married men carry, that most married men will never, ever reveal to you. You know what that secret is? Listen carefully. They envy you. In other words, they envy your status as a single guy. And you can do anything you want. You can do what you want when you want. You can travel if you want, if you got a few bucks. You can change jobs if you want. You can move to a new city. You can play video games all night. You can play your stereo loud. You can play it soft. You can do what you want. You're in charge of your life. I can tell you, most men, I'm willing to bet 80%, if you had some sort of truth serum, at least 80%, if they're really telling you the God's honest truth, they would say that they feel like they're trapped. They would feel like they don't see a way out. And I'm going to be talking about ways out for married men, because yeah, there are some ways out for married men, including married men with children. You might be surprised in the future. But you, my friend, just remember, as I've mentioned in the past, you're riding, as a young man, you're riding on a blind horse. I only have two words to say. Go slowly. Gentlemen, as always, I hope you found this profitable. Hit the like button if you did. John Galt out.